Okay, now let's try part two. We're going to make the interior of a room like this with a floor and two walls and a ceiling like that and a fireplace. And then I'm going to get you to add some things in here at the end. But to start out with, just like we did before, give me a horizon line like that across the middle, nice and straight, with a point number one touching the side there and point number two touching the side there. Then you're going to take your straight edge, and right in the middle here, I'm going to do the corner of the room here like this. Right in the middle of the page there like that. I'm just going to do a very short line that's about an inch above my line there and about an inch below it like that. Not much more than that. Okay? You can see in the picture here that that line is going to be the corner of the room there. And you can tell that your eye level, when you look at this picture, where's the imaginary horizon line? You can see that the person's eye level, or you're the viewer looking at it, is right about here. As you're in the middle there, as you're standing, you feel like you're standing right here, and that's your eye level in the picture. And that's what you're creating with this horizon line there. So you give me a vertical line there like that. And now, here's the tricky part here. At the top of that vertical line, I'm going to aim at number one over there like that. But I'm not going to draw towards number one. I'm going to draw away from number one like that. Okay, but that line aims at number one there from the top of it. Let's go to the bottom of the line like that, that you started with. And I'm going to aim at number one, make sure it's on it, but then I'm going to pull away from it wherever it goes off the page like that, okay? Let's go back to the top again, okay? This time I'm going to aim at number two, put it on the top of my first line there, put it on number two there, but don't draw towards number two, draw away from it like that along your straight edge. Let's aim at number two down here like this. There I go, I've got, but I'm going to pull away from it like that. So there you are in the corner of the room. You're inside the box again. You got the floor and two walls like that, okay? So there's your horizon line. I'm going to take that out right now just so I don't get too many lines in here, but you know that that is your eye level in this picture. It's okay to leave it if you want to, okay? So let's do the first thing that we did before. Let's make a box on the floor somewhere like this, okay? And I'm going to turn that box into a table, but let's start out with it being a box. So I'm just going to line this up with my first vertical line there, and that doesn't have to, but I'll just use that anyway. But somewhere down on the floor here like this, I'm going to make a little short line like that doesn't go off the page, but there's plenty of room above it. Just a little vertical line like that. Let's turn that into a box like you did in part one. Okay, at the bottom of that line, I'm going to aim at number one over there. The top of the line, I'm aiming at number one. Let's finish one side of the box like this, okay? Make sure that your ruler is straight up and down. It's not leaning just a little bit this way. You want to make sure it's nice and vertical like that when you do your vertical lines, okay? And then I always take off the ends like that. Okay, making a box like we did yesterday. Let's do that. Making a cube. You can make both sides the same if you want to, or you can make one longer if you want to, it doesn't matter. See, I don't know where those end up. If I was just to connect those two like this, look what happens. If I just try to connect them like that, you know, some people do that by accident. You don't want to do that because you want your vertical lines to remain vertical, just like this, the middle there, just like the sides of your page over there. So what I do is I don't go to the end of it. I just slide over and I look at my ruler and make sure it's straight up and down, and then I'll do a vertical line. And if I happen to have a little left over, good, okay? Let's finish the top of the box like that, boom, boom, like that, okay? And now I'm going to turn that into a little table. Okay, the first thing I'll do is, I don't need the bottoms of this anymore, so I'll take this out, and I'll take this one out. So it looks like four little skinny legs and a little table like that. Well, let's thicken it up a bit. First, I'll thicken up the top of the table. I'm on my point over there. I'm on the edge of the table, but I'll slide it down just a little bit, but I stay on the point there as I move my ruler, because that's a parallel line, but it's slightly narrower here than there, making that side of the table thicker. I'll join it up with this side here. I can line it up with that, line it up with your point over here, using point number two. There it is like that. You can leave it just like that if you want to, or you can get fancy and make your table a little fancier like this. That's all you got to do. And you got a little fancy old antique table there like that, okay? Next, I'd like to do a doorway over here on the side. Any size doorway you want, but what I'm going to do is just a little bit off center here like this, okay? I'm off center a little bit. I'm going to have a line that goes up from the floor almost to the ceiling, but not quite. Okay. Then I'm going to do the top of the door over here. Which point would you use? You have to figure that out. But the top of the doorway is parallel to the top of the wall, isn't it? The bottom of the doorway, the top of the doorway, everything is parallel to each other. So they're all using point number 1 over here like that. So there goes the top of the wall is using point 1. So the top of the door uses point 1 too. However wide you want to make it. Then a new vertical coming down like this. And you've got the beginning of a doorway, don't you? Let's make that look more interesting, like it's got some 3D depth. I'll take out the bottom of it so it looks like we could walk through the doorway. Still looks a little flat, but right from that corner right there, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to aim at number 2 over here and do a short line like that going towards number 2. I'm going to go up to the corner of the doorway right there and also aim at number 2. And I'll do a short line like that. Okay? Then I'm going to line my straight edge up with that first vertical line of the side of the door, and I'll slide it to the left just a little ways, not as wide as I made the lines. I think I'm going to cut them off a little bit like that so they're not so wide. So I have a little tail door race there. Now I have to show underneath the doorway right there. There's a new corner right there. So I'm going to use the point on the opposite side because it's going the other way. See what happens there. You've only got 2 choices, either this corner or that corner to use. And one of them will work better than the other. You'll see as you do that, okay? So there's the top of the doorway. You can make it look like you can see inside the other room like this. Imagine this wall just keeps on going and it shows up in the next room there. So I'll line my straight edge up with the bottom of my wall here and then keep it right there, and then I'll also draw along the straight edge just where it shows up inside the next room like that, so it looks like the floor is going into the next room. Then let's do something fun here. This is going to be a little fireplace like this. Okay? We're going to do a little fireplace with an opening like that and a little what's called an apron out in front of it on the floor. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Over here on the side here, not too far over, but just in from the side a little ways like this, about where I am right there. I'm going to do a vertical line that goes all the way from the floor. It's parallel to the side of the paper, all the way up to the ceiling like that. Okay, one going all the way up to the ceiling. Then I'm right there. I'm going to turn my straight edge and aim at number 1, but I'm going to draw along the ceiling just a little ways like that, a very short line like that, but it's pointing at number 1. Then I'm going to have another vertical drop down from where I stopped, but it has to be parallel to the first line. Okay, so there's the same thickness, and I'm going to come all the way down past the line there, but how far should I go? Well, I think I'll just draw a little farther than I think I need to there, okay? I drew that one down a little farther. I can find out where that corner is going to be right here, because basically what we're going to make is a long, tall box for the chimney. But it has to fit right into the floor right there. So right where that line stops right there, I'm going to aim at number 1, and I'll put it on where I started right there, aiming at number 1. But I'm going to pull away from it until it meets that vertical line that I had right there. Then I can take away the extra like that, okay? I've got one side of my box done. Turn the corner. Let's do the face of the chimney here like this. I'm going to aim towards number 2. There it goes. I'm going to head over that way, a little longer like that, okay? However wide you want to make the chimney, it's up to you. Then another vertical right here that's going to go up parallel to my other lines there. It's going to go wherever I stop. I'm going to go all the way up here like this, all the way up, but I don't know how far to go. Let's see. I'm going to draw farther than I think I need to when I pass the other line there. So I just have that line going pretty far. How could I find where to stop right there? You already know where this corner is. So I'm going to put my straight edge on this corner right there and draw towards number 2, and where it hits that, that's going to be the last corner of the chimney there. And you've got a box. Just like you drew a box down here, I drew another box right there that's below and above my eye level. Now take away the old floor line like that, so the box, the chimney looks solid. You can't see through it. There you go. Okay, now I need to have an opening in the chimney like this, all right? So right at the bottom, it's like a little door. You can make it as wide or as narrow as you want, but I'm gonna make a little opening there, and then I'm gonna turn, And just like at the bottom of it or the top of it, it's parallel. The top of the doorway to the chimney, where you're going to put your logs in there, it's got to point at number 2, just like the top of the chimney does in the bottom. Points at number 2 there, however wide you want to make it, like that. Then drop another vertical down like this. Okay, there you go. Another vertical right there. Now, if you want to make it look like you can see inside the fireplace, you can do this. You make a little short line that goes into the old floor line like that. You can still see it. Then a vertical line here. Then I'll put a little of the old floor line back in like that, and it looks like you can see inside the fireplace. You can also put a little apron on the floor out in front, which is like a little welcome mat right in front of, like a little rug in front of the fireplace, but it's usually made of marble. And you'll line it up with the edge of your chimney, pointing at number 1. Pull out this way, just a short ways like that. Turn and point at number 2. But now I'm going to draw farther than I think I need to. I don't know how far to go there with that yet, but I'm turning, pointing at number 2 to find the next corner there. I'm going to go back to this corner there of the chimney, okay, right where I'm pointing right there, and line up my T-square, line up my straight edge with 0.1 there, and draw back this way, and I've got a little apron out in front of the fireplace. Okay, last thing to do is going to be, let's put some boards on the floor like this. Okay, here when you want to do floorboards, or if somebody wants to do a checkerboard, you can do that too, but before doing a checkerboard you have to do long boards, and then you can add checkerboards going the other way. You guys try that out, but here's what I'm going to do here. Okay, any floorboards along the floor here are going to point at number 2. So let's go right away, right to the edge of the bottom of the wall here like that. It's pointing to number 2. Then I'm going to keep it on number 2 here, hold it there, but just let it come down just a little ways like that so I can get a nice wide board. And here I go, I'm coming along here. It's pointing at number 2, comes out the other side of the fireplace, hits the wall there, but might show up in the next room a little bit like that. Okay, let's keep it on number 2. Let it spin down a little bit like that. Okay, but I'm keeping it on number 2 there. Here's another board. Comes along, hits the apron of the fireplace, hits the wall, doesn't go through there, shows up again when you come through the door. Let's keep on going down like this. However wide, they don't all have to be the same size, but they can just, each one of these boards has to be pointing at the point over here, number 2. When I get to the table here, I don't want to share the line with the edge of the table there. So I'm going to make sure I can skip that a little bit. It looks a little better, so it doesn't go right next to the table, the same line, doesn't share it, but it goes behind the table like that. Okay, so there I go. I'm going to make a bunch of boards there. You guys can knock yourself out doing this. It looks really cool. It makes the space really come alive when you have these long boards in there like that. And if someone wants to figure out how to do a checkerboard, you're welcome to do that too. You just have to use the other point across the page after you do this. But I like this look here, okay? Then, the last thing I'm going to have you guys do is I'd like you to add something in this room here, whatever you want to, but I'd like you to put a picture frame on each of the walls. So what would a rectangular picture frame look like? And I'd like you to put another box somewhere in the room here. It might be in the corner, it might be on wherever you want to, it might be on the ceiling, another box if you wanted to put some track lights in there, but you have to use your 2 points. When whatever you add to your picture here, you have to use your 2 points. Okay? Give it a try. Send me a picture.